Mercy Okon, research specialist at Parthian Securities, joins me now for a focus on Nigeria's stock market trading this week and also how the market is reacting to the MPC outcome from yesterday. Mercy, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about Parthian Securities. What is your analysis of the outcome of the meeting yesterday?
Oh, yeah, so we do expected, or we rather expected that the MPC were going to hold rates, and this is because while we had seen the rebased data and we saw that inflation for January stood at 24.48, we still knew that it would be wrong to compare the current rebased data to that of December because they were using two different methodologies, as you know. The current CPI inflation rate was based on the rebased data. So because of that, we knew that the CBN would have to see or observe two or more data, inflation data, to be able to make conclusive decision on what the MPC stance would be. So yeah, we were expecting that they were going to hold rate to see and to observe what the forthcoming inflation data would be. And as expected, they actually did hold rates. So, yeah.
Now, and finally on that point, I mean, listening or remembering some of the comments that the CBN governor made, were there any particular comments that you took note of?
Oh, yes. So the tone sounded a bit dovish. I mean, so we're expecting that if we continue to see a downward trend towards inflation and we continue to see the stability in FX, we know that the CBN has been quite aggressive towards creating that level of stability in the FX rate. We believe that we might likely see the CBN tilting towards cutting rates very soon. So yeah, we just watch out to see how that goes. But for us, it's good news for us when the rates are down, because it then would mean that we'd have investors likely tilting towards the equities markets, because you know that is a negative correlation between high interest rate and the FX and the equities market. So we believe that when the yields are down in the fixed income markets, we'll start to see the risk lovers who would want to earn higher return moving to the equities market. So yeah, it's positive for us. However, we do know that aside from the rates being low, there are other catalysts that would have to drive positive sentiment in the equities market. So yeah.
I know it's just been one day of trading to fully digest the outcome yesterday, but any positive movement that you can directly relate to the outcome from the meeting yesterday?
Not exactly. As a matter of fact, it's been sort of a bearish week in the equities market, and mainly because of the profit taking that we're seeing in some key stocks that have moved over the week. We're also seeing some level of cautious movement at the back of the expectation of the outcome of what the MPC decision would be. I think currently the market is still digesting the decision, and we're also sort of waiting for some level of positive triggers. And I think that what would move the markets going forward would be when we start to see the corporate actions from some of the companies that haven't released yet, especially the banks. So we're waiting to see how that turns out. So yeah, I would say it's been bearish. Even the banking stocks, we've been seeing a lot of bearish movement in the banking stocks. One of the reactions was also because of the mandate from the CBN earlier in the week, asking the commercial banks to bring their insider lending within regulatory limits, and also asking directors with non-performing facilities to step down. So yeah, and also what we're also seeing is we're seeing some level of profit taking. Most of the shares, the banks are already allotting the shares, the likes of Fidelity, the likes of FCMB and Zenith. So investors who had partake in the IPOs and the right issues, we're starting to see some level of profit taking on their end. So we believe that these are some of the things affecting the banking stocks at the moment.
Right.
Right.
Sorry? Just wanted to ask you, I mean, top volume drivers this week, and also the top one or two winners for the week in turn. I know it's been a bearish week, but obviously investors were still bargain hunting across the bourse. But so top volume drivers for the week and one or two top winners this week.
So the top volume drivers for this week, interestingly, has been the banking stocks. I mean, it's been quite volatile. We were also on the value chart and volume chart for today's trading activities. So yeah, for our expectation, I'm not quite sure what she said next. Apologies.
Well, the top winners this week, the stocks that saw the most investor patronage.
Also, we saw some level of activities in Ella Lakes, Dangote Sugar and NASCON as well. Boa Foods, however, as of yesterday, today, it's been flat. So yeah.
All right. Now, for the broader economy, just remembering also some of the comments of the CBN governor yesterday, do you think that investors, I mean, in terms of the operating environment, especially for the listed companies on the bourse, do you think investors have a brighter outlook now for the operating environment and also the economy as a whole?
Yes, I'll say that, especially for some sectors like the consumer sector. I mean, before now, you'd agree with me that the manufacturing sector has really taken the hit with the whole FX losses and high finance costs. And now we're seeing the move with the CBN trying to create some level of stability. So meaning that we're already even starting to see some level of decreases in the FX losses of those companies. And now with the with the CBN moving towards holding rate and likely even cutting rate in the future, we believe that this would also further be good for them in terms of their finance costs and trying to raise finance for the company. So yeah, it's positive, actually. Right. We believe that, yeah.
Right. So finally, your outlook for the new trading week. What should we expect next week?
We actually expect the market to be mixed to positive. And given that by then the markets were fully digested in the MPC decision, and also we believe that we'll start to see some level of inflows of corporate earnings next week as well. And because of that, we expect that that will drive positive sentiment. And also for stocks that have lost this week, because like I said, it was bearish, we believe that we'll start to see some level of bargain hunting that will likely trigger the stocks to likely that positive movement. So yes, mixed to positive for us for next week.
Thank you so much, Mercy, for sharing that with us today. Mercy Okon, research specialist at Parthian Securities.